Welcome to Reading with Miss T. Today, we'll be reading Elijah McCoy Inventor, written by Garnet Nelson Jackson, illustrated by Gary Thomas. Swish, 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 swish. The train wheels came to a halt. It was oiling time again. A little over 100 years ago, trains did not move as fast as they do today. A train would run a while before the engine slowed to stop. Then workers would have to oil every moving part before the train could start again. It would take days and days, sometimes weeks, before cargo was delivered. Sometimes goods would spoil or rot on the way. There lived in a little Canadian town called Colchester, Ontario, a small boy named Elijah McCoy. Like most children, he liked trains. He loved watching the trains near his house and listening to the swish swish sound of the big wheels. But he did not know how hard it was to keep those big wheels turning. He did not know that if they were not stopped and oiled, many times the wheels would be unable to move. Elijah was the McCoy's greatest joy. His parents, Mildred and George, had been runaway slaves from Kentucky who fled the United States to Canada. They took great pride in their young son. George worked many long hours to make sure Elijah had a good education. Sometime later, the family moved to Yosemite, Michigan. Elijah spent much of his spare time to design and improve machines. Before he finished school, he left for Scotland. There, Elijah studied to become a mechanical engineer. Elijah learned to be a great engineer. Then he returned to the United States in search of a job. But because of his color, Elijah could not find a job as an engineer. So he settled for a job as an oiler for trains. This was quite a lowly job for a fine engineer he was. As Elijah oiled the wheels, he remembered the swish swish sounds of the wheels he loved as a boy. Now he knew how hard it was to keep them moving and how long it took a train to get from place to place. Elijah thought, there must be some way that a train could be oiled while moving. That way it would never have to stop and the wheels could continue to go swish, swish. After much thinking, in 1872, Elijah McCoy made a new part for trains. This part dripped oil into the moving wheels and the engine while the train was rolling along the tracks. Elijah called his part a lubricator. News about the lubricator spread. Railroad people everywhere were happy. Trains no longer had to stop to be oiled. Elijah invented lubricators for all machines, too. People and businesses all over the world were buying Elijah McCoy's lubricators. Since everyone wanted to buy lubricators, other people tried to make and sell them, but theirs just did not work as well as Elijah's. Merchants wanted to make sure they were not getting a copy, so when they went to buy a lubricator, they always asked for the real McCoy. Elijah became famous and wealthy as one of the greatest mechanical engineers of his time, and from that day, our world has never been the same. McCoy's ideas are still used in lubricators for cars, trains, planes, and many other machines. And the saying, the real McCoy, is still used to describe the very best. Did you enjoy that story? I hope you did. Come back soon and read with Miss T.